inevitable.
And how long for?
That I can't predict, but and everyone would rather we didn't have to go that way at all. But it's all down to containing virus.
How effective is it? I don't know whether you heard prior to the
In a
weekend,
quarter of a mile, merge onto M4.
circuit breaker. So probably during half term you lock the country down. You're an expert in this field as regards medical care. How effective would a 2-week break be?
With regard to the transmission rates, obviously it would slow things down because the incubation period is about 14 days, or up to 14 days. However, how effective that would be in the long run, I don't know. Whether you have to have a series of these circuit breaks, but it's really up to the public as well.
Continue on M4 for 9 miles.
Right now, because there is a fact. The fact is that we're going into a winter crisis. Normal winters, we don't have enough hospital capacity for what we have to manage normally. For every bed that is taken up by a COVID patient now, going into the winter, will be one bed less for someone who needs their cancer treatment, for someone who needs to have their heart sorted out, someone who needs a gallbladder. So it's up to everybody to make sure that we keep that capacity free. People can meet the operations that can meet their
saloon before new lockdown is a very succinct and accurate headline, I fear, for the Daily Telegraph. Similar words picked up: we're in the last chance saloon before lockdown, says the Daily Express. Similar for lbc.co.uk, stricter controls possible to avoid second full lockdown. For the Daily Mirror, tipping point, I think that's the word I use, in virus fight. Reminding you, of course, that Chris Whitty is the nation's chief medical advisor. The Sun tells us that we're scared wittyless. I hope you've seen what they've done there. The Eye picks up on a line that we looked at, which is the cabinet split over second lockdown. This is over the economic impact, by the way. I'm sure everybody in the cabinet wants everyone to stay well, but they're also aware that there's a million, well, all but 900,000 jobs in the balance. 900,000 jobs in the hospitality sector. The metro cities, this may hurt a bit. These are the restrictions that have been coming. UK at critical point. Chief scientists will warn the public. It's the Guardian. The Daily Mail, a different aspect. New care homes testing disgrace. Results taking up to 15 days to get. And the Financial Times looks unsurprising at the financial aspect. Sunak has in Rishi to extend business support as COVID spread worsens. Elle, I'll talk to you about your concerns in a minute. Let's just get into this idea, though, of the hospitality sector. Peter Borg-Neal is founder and executive chairman of Oakman Inns. They're a chain of 28 pubs and restaurants across the UK. I would imagine I found it troubling enough, and I'm not in the business. How did you react when you opened the papers and saw the idea that we could be, never mind, go out, eat out the health hour, and now we stayed and shut up? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Very concerned. We're sort of back from, the lockdown, the closure. We've had great support from Rishi Sunak. We'll be getting back on our feet. But the spectre now of being smashed back down again is really, really very, very worrying.
What do you have in place to ensure that your patrons and, of course, your staff are safe?
A huge range of measures. Everything from social distancing. We don't allow people to stand. We don't allow people to move from table to table or to mingle, as the word is. We have one-way systems. We have disposable menus. We get people ordering by app. We have hand gel everywhere. Really, it's a very, very safe place to take a meal or have a drink.
Could you do more?
Well, I guess so, but we worked with the government and the trade body UK Hospitality to develop these measures. And the point is, there are very, very few transmissions in a hospitality setting. And I'm not saying that, this is the government who's saying it. I mean, yes. Mr. Hancock's saying something very different publicly, which is very confusing. But if you look at the Public Health England website, it's very clear that most transmissions are in care homes. Well, that didn't start in the pub. The second highest are in educational settings, i.e. schools. Yes. Well, that didn't start in the pub either. And the third is in workplaces. Yet Mr. Hancock says it's not happening in workplaces. You get the impression he's trying to confuse everybody.
In 1.5 miles, at junction 3, take the A312 exit to Harrow, Hayes.
From pubs and restaurants closing, then great, but there is no evidence.
And what is the reality, lastly? Let's say there is a 2-week closing for the half-term holidays in October. God knows how you buy your stock. It must be a nightmare how you do that. But anyway, what would the impact be?
Well, it's huge. I mean, when they locked down before, of course, it's 2 days before Mother's Day. We're all full of roast beef and Yorkshire pudding mix and all sorts, all ready to go on the Sunday. Then you have beer going to stop. Has a massive impact on our suppliers. A lot of those guys have been fighting back, trying to rebuild their balance sheets, getting their cash flow going again, and to be knocked back with no good reason doesn't make any sense.
Peter Borg-Neal, founder and executive chairman of Oakman Inns, chain of 28 pubs, restaurants across the country. I wish you nothing but good luck, and I do hope they see reason and don't close you down. Don't close any leisure industries down. Dear God, these people are just about paying the rent. You can't possibly close them down again, can you? Ellen Fulham, you're on the radio. What are you going to tell me, Elle? Good morning.
Yeah, I'm really, really angry at the moment because I've got a 12-year-old who's been showing symptoms of this virus since Friday evening. Number one, being stuck on, like a London Transport bus, because of the traffic, or the road closure. And I have been trying to get a test for him for the past 2 days. I've been trying up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I tried again at 7 o'clock. Now, I've already
What are the symptoms? What are the symptoms your son is showing?
Sore throat, slight cough, and he hasn't got a temperature. But
I mean, I am absolutely no medical expert, but I thought temperature was pretty key on all of this, wasn't it? I absolutely do not take it.
Okay.
I'm just talking to you as like a mate, you know, over the garden fence here. But I thought temperature was one of the key signs. El, no?
It's sore throat, high temperature, and continuous cough.
Right.
And he's got two: the sore throat and the cough.
Right. Right.
And it's, like being, like many parents want to be able to get a test to see, whether or not he's got the virus. Because if I send him to school and he's got the virus, then, I'd be breaking.
I understand. What are you doing with the boy then? You're going to keep him home today? Sorry, how old is he? Did you give me his age? I do apologise.
He's 12.
12, right,
He's 12.
Okay. So you're going to keep him at home today, huh?
I'm going to keep him at home because I'm still going to try and see if I can get him tested.
Of course. And not that this makes it any better, but you're not even been offered the opportunity to go to, I don't know, Cornwall or Aberdeen or Scunthorpe? Nothing whatsoever.
Nothing.
Right.
I mean, I did manage to... You see, this is another thing, the website, which is, it's not working at all.
It's not working.
You might as well say it's not fit for purpose.
Good luck with the boy. Look after him. I would say if he's not got a temperature, and again, this is just chatting, he's not got a temperature, hopefully he's going to be in a good place. And of course, 12-year-olds do bounce back pretty quickly, don't they? But I wish you well, and that is incredibly frustrating. Thank you for that. Look, we've talked about the aspect for the hospitality sector. Another sector that's in perilous state is the aviation sector. And the headline today, UK businesses are losing £32 million a day because of the lack of an air bridge between the UK and the US. The research was commissioned by Airlines UK and Heathrow Airport, and you're going to hear from Chief Executive in a moment. And it states that trade deals worth billions post-Brexit are now at risk, unless the government allows a trial of airport testing for the virus to open up the links between London and New York. John Holland Case, Chief Executive of Heathrow Airport, joins us regularly, both prior to and during this pandemic, and joins me again. I know you well enough to call you John. Last time we spoke, I thought we were getting close to approval to allow some of your colleagues to have this testing at your airport. What went wrong, John? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Well, we haven't had the go-ahead from the government yet, and we would love to be able to allow people to be tested.
In a quarter of a mile, at junction 3, take the A312 exit to Harrow, Hayes.
Travel to this country, and you were talking earlier about the risk to jobs in hospitality. Well, I think there's something like 4 million jobs in the UK in leisure and hospitality, and the biggest single source of those visitors to the UK.
Exit at junction 3.
Nearly 20% of all of our tourists come from the United States, and yet they can't get here. If we could start to introduce some testing that would allow tourists to come to the UK, but also
in a quarter of a mile, at the roundabout, take the third exit onto the Parkway, A312.
Of our country, and we just have to get the air bridge to the UK to the UK from the US up and running as fast as we can.
But I remember, John, I think it must have been about 3 or 4 weeks ago we spoke about this, and you pointed to other cities where it's working. I think countries and cities such as Dubai and Iceland, they have similar deals in place. Do you know what the stumbling block is? And I should tell you, I've got Transport Secretary Grant Shapps with me in the next half hour. I wonder if there's a point or question you'd like to put to him. I'm sure you have a good, healthy working relationship with him, but whether you want to ask him anything directly.
Well, I think the thing that's been holding back the UK is a concern about testing with the risk of a second wave and not wanting to put more burden on the UK testing system. And we heard that from your caller in Fulham just now. But what we're proposing is that this testing should be entirely privately provided, so that the traveller pays for their own test, doesn't put any more burden onto the governor's testing facilities, and that would allow just the start of some